Yeah, it should be good.
Cool. Good deal. Thanks.
All right. Um, so anyway, DXY, obviously you all know that we're ridiculously bearish, right? Okay. Absolutely just been dying well the last month and a half or however long that is. I don't really care. Right. And so when we have this move right here, right, I can't tell you how many people I saw trying to long the dollar now after this move. Right. And like even initially I myself was tempted because I saw a short-term structure break. Right. But at the same time, we have to put this into perspective. What have we been doing? Oops. What have we been doing? Absolutely selling off, right? Ridiculous downtrend. These unidirectional swings against trend and momentum are meant to play with our minds, right? We immediately see some type of impulsive move because in our minds we're saying, okay, well, this is way oversold, right? So in our minds we want to buy this thing. It's just a natural emotion that's triggered in our minds after seeing this mini structure break. Okay. But we have to remember that we're in a ridiculous downtrend. We should be treating this movement here as, oh, wow, now we have a more of a premium to sell this thing again, as opposed to, oh, wait, now we're shifting trend. We should be buying it now. Right. It's all in your perspective. Like, oh, wow, we've given 100, I don't know, 100-point retracement. Let's sell it again coming into the 4-hour 50 EMA. So it's all in your perspective and thinking about what the retail traders are thinking, right? They see this, they're looking to buy it now, and boom, we come right back down, create equal lows. Okay, so that's where I was, earlier in the week with Euro USD. I literally said this, and VIP members, you all know if you watched my daily market breakdown video on, I guess it was Monday evening. All right, I talked about how we had this swift sell-off, quote unquote breakout of support, right? And again, what you could classify as a minor structure break here. Okay. And I say, guys, I promise you, from my experience, this to me, especially if we get back above this level here, okay, where we sold off. Okay. I said, if we get back above this level, this to me is now a sell to buy. Sweeping liquidity, equal lows, right? Enticing retail traders short. Okay. Mini break of structure. No, this really isn't relevant structure here, right? Because this is really a unidirectional leg to the upside. Okay. So we called this, and I said we close it back above this level. I will be looking for pullbacks for continuation. Now, I was looking to scale in here, and I didn't find a good entry. But anyway, you can see what happened. Okay, so it's just you really got to think about it. And I don't know how many of you on here, but you probably were looking at selling Euro USD after this. Okay, oh, break of structure, pullback short. Okay, not necessarily, which is why when pairs are so bullish or so bearish and trending so significantly, this is what I like to see before I even consider taking a counter trend opportunity. Right? I would have liked to have seen this, right? And then I would have liked to have seen price produce some type of lower high first, a new lower low, okay, confirming a new lower low here and a new lower high, and I would look to take it on the third drive down, right? Highest probability, especially when we're trading counter trend. Okay. So why do we all have the mindset? Why is it just programmed within our minds to want to look to sell this thing immediately because of this impulsive move, because of tiny break in short-term structure? Why is that? Right? Isn't that what the 97%, 99% of people are thinking? Yeah, it is. Okay. So just be patient. All right. And this is why last week was kind of iffy for me, is because there were some like counter trend, moves that we don't necessarily want to be taking. Right. So for me, I'm going to want to see if it's going to go counter trend, I would want to see a new low, right? To then take it off of a new lower high. But for now, we're still creating higher highs, guys, higher lows. It's a fact. Okay. So Euro USD, I was looking at this level on Friday, and I called it out on the live session. Some of you might have taken it, but it's just a 30-minute candle here. it's looking to play off of, and we've gotten a reaction from it. Now, obviously, what I'd like to see is that break and counter trend structure, right, for continuation. That's what I'd like to see. Okay, but you know, it very well could happen where we've been playing with the trend and then we finally get a break, an actual break down in market structure, and start creating lower highs and lower lows for an actual higher time frame counter trend. I would really actually love that because I want to be able to buy higher time frame at a more significant discount. Right? I want us to I want us to retrace on a higher time frame so I can get in at a better price and buy this thing up to 1.25. Okay, but right now I need more data to look for, to take counter trend plays and finally realize that, okay, we're coming down for a higher time frame pullback. Okay, but for now we're within this singular leg still to the upside. Okay, we haven't created some type of higher time frame pullback yet. Okay, so I would urge you to keep treating pullbacks as opportunities to buy until price gives us, you know, tells us otherwise, gives us different data. Okay, starts breaking down. Okay, don't immediately jump to the conclusion that we're actually going to pull back for a counter trend and start looking to take counter trend trades prematurely. All right, it'll really help you in the long run, even if you don't take really a trade all week, right? Because it's not presenting itself. Just it's not worth it. All right. Now NZD USD is a little bit of a different story. All right. NU, okay, I do eventually expect NZD USD to really kind of take out all these highs, right? But for now, it looks like we actually might be getting a higher time frame pullback. Okay, simply because what did we do? All right, we created relative equal highs here that were swept. Okay, we created a lower high. Create a lower high here. So that's our first indication. That's our first sign that, okay, maybe we're going to shift somewhat in market structure and create some type of counter trend. All right, so I'd really like to see that kind of close here for a lower low and then potentially look to play off of a lower high for a third drive down. Okay, this is where it comes in handy waiting for more data instead of just prematurely jumping into some type of trade. All right, so I'd like to see that lower low, potentially take a lower high to then kind of come clap out some of these equal lows that we have, maybe even down here, but that would be kind of a stretch for now. Okay, so again, I'd like to see some type of lower high here, or excuse me, lower low, and then look to scale in this region of price for a third drive to the downside to maybe take out these relatively clean lows at 6,500. All right, AU, a little bit different than NU, which typically they're correlated. We do have some relatively clean equal lows, and we did want price to come back down into this this old market structure here last week, and we didn't. We kind of created some relatively equal lows. All right, but we're like kind of like Euro USD. We're still creating higher highs. Okay, we don't really have any data to confirm that we're actually shifting trend yet, at least higher time frame. All right, so this one I'm just kind of chilling on this one. I don't really see much in terms of potential plays. I mean, yeah, we barely swept the highs here, but these will get swept. Promise you, they will get taken out eventually. Right, so this isn't really a top to me. So maybe we come sweep the lows and then continue. So maybe we create some type of counter trend coming into old structure around 700, 0.7. Okay, we do have clean equal lows here as well, right? But this is kind of in a tricky spot for me right now. Okay, I don't necessarily want to be getting involved either way in this market. All right, USD CAD. Now again, top down, monthly time frame. Now, how long have we been calling this level? How long? Okay, monthly sponsor candle, down close candle, swept liquidity, sell to buy. Okay, equal lows we had. You can more easily identify them on a weekly time frame. But equal lows have been swept. Okay, coming into the monthly sponsor candle. Now, that doesn't mean we're going long yet. Certainly does not. Okay, we have to come into our higher time frame area of interest and then actually shift structure and trend. Okay, so right now, I don't believe we'll actually go long or for some type of correction unless we get above this daily level here. unless we get some type of daily close, preferably above the daily 50 EMA as well. But personally, I think we can come lower. Okay, this is the actual push here that swept liquidity. Okay, all this liquidity. So I think we can come into at least 1.3100. It would be my desired target, 1.3100. Very strong level for USD CAD in the past. Okay, and so again, I'm looking for continuations. I'm looking for continuation unless we get some type of clear breakout. Okay, and continuation after coming into our higher time frame level, right? But we'd like to see it accumulate, right? Sell to buy. It's not just going to reverse out of nowhere. This probably will come back down, in my opinion. All right, so 4-hour time frame. We did have kind of the 50% of this 4-hour candle. Okay, coming into that Friday, sweeping this liquidity here. Okay, I do want to note that we do have relative clean highs here as well, right? But this candle here, you can see accounted for this candle that swept liquidity within these wicks, but again, created some relative equal highs as well. So this becomes potentially our candlestick of interest, obviously coming into that Friday. So if we can see a more or less I'll denote these highs that were swept. Okay. Potential buy to sell here would be very nice. Okay, obviously continuation. Okay, with the higher time frame trend until higher time frame trend breaks. Okay, so that's something I would like to see on USD CAD. A couple more. UJ, again, this is kind of like a counter trend play. Not ideal. Okay, but we did come into this level. I believe we mentioned on the Sunday webinar last week. Okay, and so we do have some clean highs. I've kind of wanted this level a long time ago that was never met, and there's obviously you can see the imbalance as well. Daily time frame, you can see that we are still bearish. Okay, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay, potentially still creating another lower high relative to this high. Okay, so this is obviously counter trend. We still do have some pretty clean lows. And again, dollar is bearish. Dollar is shifted trend, right? So I would expect these equal lows here around 101.20 to be taken out eventually, in my opinion. Okay, right now I believe we're just in for some type of correction, it looks like, on UJ. So what I would like to see, what I prefer to see, is for us to create a new high. So obviously you can see higher high, higher low would create a higher high, and we could take it off of a third drive into the high. Okay, taking out these highs here, taking out these highs here. Okay, coming into, I believe it was like a 2-hour candle I wanted to play off of eventually. Yeah. I think Jaheim pointed this one out to me. If you're on the call still, Jaheim. But yeah, I want to see this, right? But it doesn't mean I'm going to get it, right? It's just something that I would like to see. Okay, if we play out within this counter trend, all right, and take out all these highs here. Okay, we would still create a lower high relative to this high, right? It's just kind of like a higher time frame area I'd be looking for to scale in. Okay, so if we can make a new high here, kind of like in U, right? If we can make a new high, then I would look to take it off of a third drive long. Okay, that's when I would take potentially a counter trend play where I deem it worthy of taking risk. Okay, so that's UJ. Last one, GBPUSD. Okay, this one, again, when price was down here, we were talking about this level. We have not taken it out yet, 1.3200. Okay, again, looking for buying opportunities into our higher time frame objective. So Friday, again, this one was called out on the Zoom call, live trading session. Okay, I told everyone I would be taking risk at 1.3025. Okay, and we are break even. So I'd like to see that reaction and continuation. Okay, but maybe like the other USD pairs, we could get some type of higher time frame retracement. That's fine because we still haven't taken out our equal highs. Okay, so any higher time frame retracement could still be treated as an excuse to go long, to take out those equal highs, because they will get taken out. Okay, but for now, we're playing within this leg to the upside. Obviously, you can see this candle here, swept liquidity, came into, obviously, this down close candle that swept liquidity here. Okay, so we're following the mitigation. Good spot to take risk. Looking for continuations to the upside, 1.3200, 100% on the cards. All right, so those are my pairs. Mark off some of these levels on your charts. I hope you've gotten a good perspective, maybe higher time frame, as well as kind of trained your psychology here to understand that we need to be trading with higher time frame trend and momentum until we've actually confirmed shift in trend based upon the actual data and price action on your chart, right? So yeah, those are my pairs. I will hand it over to Nate now, and like he said, he's got quite a few he wants to go over as well. Appreciate you guys. All right, Nate.
All right, thank you, Aiden. I appreciate you. So yeah, you guys have to just bear with me here a little bit. I have quite a few pairs to go over. I won't take too long because not a lot of them are setups. They're just more directional bias. So let's see. Let me know if you cannot see my screen. I think everyone. Aiden, can you see it?
Yeah, I can.
Perfect. Okay. So we've been talking about this for a while now. I think we're really going to get this move this week. Well, I hope so. Because what we did is we still are kind of in a counter trend up move. Okay. So higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. That's what we want to see because we came down and we retested broken structure in here. Okay. So we retested this resistance, now support. All right. We have taken out these equal lows. So we've created equal lows here, created equal lows here. And then what we saw was that last sell to buy candle. So we swept the liquidity in the opposite direction of trend. All right, we made a move to the upside, engulfing back to the upside. All right, now, so we want to see that retracement. We are above the daily 50 EMA. So we still are bullish on this pair. And kind of going along with USD JPY potential longs and Euro JPY longs as well, I do think we can still see more movement to the upside. The CAD is very, very strong, which is why we still want to see USD CAD fall. And the yen is quite weak. Now, I did highlight that we had this broken support here that turned resistance, and we had that move from that level, okay, because we still are in a massive downtrend. So lower low, lower high, low, low. We'll just go here. Overall lower low, lower high, lower low, potential lower high in here. But the reason why I do think we can come a little higher is the fact that, well, one, we still have a lot of imbalance up in here. Two, if we're going to fall, I would like for it to come up into these premium levels here and take out this last buy before the sell-off to kind of mitigate these orders in here. We have one drive to the upside, pull back, two drives to the upside, pull back, three drive potential. The markets love to move in three drive cycles. That's just how it works. It's called the Elliott wave. I haven't really studied it, but it's kind of, plain and simple when it comes to moves and waving. So the fact that we have this sell to buy, I'm really liking longs. So if we scale into this, 4 hour time frame, this line here is the daily open. So just kind of a general area where I'd look to take a position if we scale in. Going to the 1 hour time frame. So last week we pointed out this level here. So this level was an area of interest for me because we swept these equal lows in here, sell to buy, and we made a higher high. I really wanted that pullback short term to continue long, knowing that, obviously our higher time frame target is way up here, but knowing that we can see an overall pullback because there's so much imbalance here. That's why, trying to find these entries are good, for, session swings or session, scalping trades. So if I just pull my fib from here to here, what I would look for is that mitigation at this level, and then maybe taking profit -27, -61, and then waiting for an overall move, overall pullback to get into the market again at a better price. So now what I'm thinking is that we could still pull back a significant amount, maybe filling up some of this imbalance, maybe testing this prior demand level. So if I extend this out, maybe somewhere in here, we could come back down into. But really just looking for the sell to buy at the proper time of day. That's really what I'm going to be looking for. So really looking for price to create some sort of sell candle. I don't care where it comes into, because as long as we break counter trend structure, we'll be good to go. Some sort of sell to buy, pull back, mitigate, and then continue long with the overall trend of the market. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be very patient with this because we still are pulling back counter trend, but any sell to buy, breakup structure would definitely be valid for a long opportunity. So going to be looking at that. Not Not going to be looking to take a position off of this sell to buy candle because we could be in for that overall pullback, because if we pull our fib from the higher time frame swing point move, we can see that we need to come into really these sort of levels in here. All right, so any price action in and around these levels, some sort of sell to buy, break of counter trend structure, whatever that may be, we'll be looking to take a long trade from that. So that's CAD JPY. Euro JPY, very, very similar. So we are still in an uptrend on Euro JPY, as you can see. Major uptrend, we should only be looking for buys. 4-hour time frame, we came into that 4-hour 50 EMA is being supported very, very nicely. So continued longs are what I'm expecting. Daily time frame, obviously still in a bullish market. Let's see, 1-hour time frame. So last week, I believe this was last week on the 4th. Yes, this was last week, beginning of last week. We had this, I guess, retest of this broken resistance level. So resistance becomes support now, all right? And we had a 45-minute, I think it was a 45-minute. Yeah, it's sort of a 45-minute imbalance fill. Now, I didn't take a position off of this because I really wanted to create a higher high first before pulling back. We never really got that. But wasn't a bad entry if you had entered here. But now we have seen the higher high. So from this level, I can go to the hourly time frame. That's exactly why we react off this level. Now, it was very, very strong coming into this level, really the end of Friday. So market closure was upon us. So this is why I didn't take a trade. But as we can see, it reacted at 9 o'clock, prime New York session. So if you had gotten in, that would have been great. But now what I'm going to be looking for is the counter trend break. So we can see that we created equal lows in here, all right, before coming down into this candle. And I say this time and time again, why does price like to create equal lows before coming in and hitting a sponsor candle? Well, if the market makers are very, very smart. They understand that they need to come down and mitigate this level here. So why not take some money in the process? Create equal lows, entice longs, retail trader long positions because support, right? Just so they can come down because they know they have to come down here anyways to mitigate. Why not sleep the liquidity and take some money in the process? It'd really help them in pushing price down because they have to pump money into the market here. They're really kind of evening themselves out. They're pushing price down, right? Pumping the money into it to mitigate, also at the same time getting out of their cells and taking liquidity. So that's why they do it. Now what I'm seeing is that we have this sell to buy candle. We're reacting from this level. Now, Sunday open, we can see anything. And maybe we come down a little further or whatever. But what I would like to see is this drawn liquidity to be taken out. So this is where we're going to be taking out because these are equal highs. What I would like to see is, I think it's on the 45-minute, yeah, really just breaking structure. If we can get back above this level here, right? So breaking counter trend, pulling back to mitigate maybe even the 50% of this move, because this is quite a big candle here. Looking to take along. Obviously, you know, we can pull a fib from wherever it stops. Let's just say it stops right there. I don't know, 61.8, maybe 50%, something, you know, something around the discounted price levels to be buying. Okay, because we swept liquidity, sell to buy, break up counter trend structure if we can get that, continuation with higher time frame trend, waiting for that pullback, mitigating out of that position in discounted pricing to continue long. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. Obviously, we've got to wait for these setups to occur. Last week, we did not see any of these setups occur, which is why I'm thinking that maybe this week will be better because really we didn't see much last week. So I'm guessing last week was more of just kind of setting up for moves for the next week, which is this week. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I know I'm talking fast. So that's Euro JPY, obviously just continue longs we're going to be looking for. Euro CAD. Now, Euro CAD, there's nothing on it right now, but I mean, obviously we're in a overall bullish market. We do have equal lows down here, but price is so bullish, I'm not going to be looking to take any short positions until price, you know, deems necessary. So I would really just wait for price to, you know, break structure to the downside, and then we'll be looking to sell it and taking this liquidity. But for now, we're so bullish. We have equal highs in here. So that's going to be the draw on liquidity. If we are going to go short, I do believe we're going to take out these highs first. So a potential opportunity to be taking a trade. Well, first, let me just note that we have the 4-hour 50 being supported quite nicely. So continued upside is expected. Daily 50, we are above the daily 50. If I just scale into the 1 hour, we can see that price is starting to kind of break out of this, I guess, counter trend. It's not really pretty, but it's a counter trend. Starting to break out of that, but we have relatively equal lows in here. So what I'd like to see is any sort of sell to buy for a break of structure counter trend would be very, very nice. So some sort of sell candle, take liquidity, buy candle back up, breaking structure, pulling back, mitigating, continuation. That's what I would like to see. So when there's no setup in play, that's what you should be looking for. Obviously identifying the direction Obviously, our higher time frame direction is long. We're being capped by the 4-hour 50. So looking to take trades in here is not a bad idea. Obviously, we have to wait for price to create some sort of liquidity pool, which we have been creating here. So, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if it does, then I'll be looking to take a trade. This is really, the kind of the premise of, these Sunday webinars, or the whole point of them is to identify areas of interest for price to, come into and then react from. So what I'm trying to say is, if we can get this sell to buy and break structure, then we'll be looking for a pullback to enter. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm saying if we do get this, we have to be prepared and understand what the technicals they're telling us. So if we're not prepared and price does this, we're not going to know to take this trade. But if it does happen, then we're going to be looking to take a long position, tickets for continuation. So really just looking for that institutional candle around those proper times of day. Again, 3 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so if you haven't written that down, please write that down. 3 a.m. Eastern Standard to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the prime entry time to be entering into the markets. After that, after 12 p.m. Eastern, I don't look to enter the markets. I don't even look at the charts past 12 p.m. if I'm not already in a trade. So yeah, those are the proper times to enter. Obviously, anything outside of that time period is invalid for entries because they're not in the correct session. So continuing, Euro AUD. Obviously, the dollar has been weak. We're going to be continually looking for Euro strength. All right, we are in a big uptrend. Well, not in a big uptrend. We're potentially starting an uptrend on Euro AUD, because if I zoom out here, sorry for all the messages, guys. So we are in an uptrend overall. But we're starting to get back down into these discounted levels. Now I'm seeing a lot of liquidity being rested in here. So I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if overall we sweep the liquidity first, higher time frame. This could take months or weeks. Sweep the liquidity, break structure to continue. That would be the most ideal situation. If we can take all the liquidity in here, re-break structure to the upside, pull back, mitigate, and go long, that would be great. But for now, price is showing signs of bullish momentum. We do have relatively equal highs in here, which I would like to take out. So maybe kind of a short-term trade would be really to get back down, maybe into sort of this level here, just a little bit of an imbalance that we have yet to fill, or come back down for an overall pullback, and we can see on the 8-hour time frame that we have yet to mitigate this level in here. This sell candle took liquidity, and we made a higher high. The drawn liquidity is going to be here. Whenever I say drawn liquidity, meaning where is price most likely to come to take liquidity next, which is this level, because we have equal highs. There's retail trader stop losses because they think, oh, resistance, we got to be selling. So we are being capped by the 8-hour 50 EMA, being capped by the daily 50 EMA, 4-hour 50, we are above. So continued upside is expected. What I would like to see is just some sort of, push down into here, either back down into here or back down into here, looking for that counter trend break to the upside. So breaking previous structure, pulling back, mitigating, and continuation. All right. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on Euro AUD. Again, nothing pertinent at the moment. But if we can see something like that, we'll be looking to take longs. Let's say the market opens up kind of like right here, and we just break to the upside. Now it's going to be a little tricky, because what I don't want to see liquidity run first. Because if liquidity's run first, if we come up here and take liquidity right now, pulling back to go long is not going to be probably the smart move, because technically we're still in an overall downtrend. So if we come up kind of into these price levels and maybe fill in some imbalance and take liquidity, maybe we can be in for another leg to the downside. So the only way I would be taking a long trade from here is if somehow, we push back down and we re-break structure, pull back, mitigate, and then our targets would be the equal highs. We come to the equal highs first, then I won't be looking to take a long opportunity upon the pullback. And that's exactly what we saw on Euro GBP. I think it was a month ago or something like that. And I said, if we come up and take liquidity first, I'm not going to be looking for price to pull back and continue. I'm going to be looking for shorts. So that's exactly why I'm saying this here, because we still are in an overall downtrend. But if we can get some sort of break of structure, price just can do something like that, and then our targets would be the equal highs. That's what I'll be looking for. So nothing right now, just going to be keeping an eye on it. GBP-JPY. Okay, so the drawn liquidity, we're still in a higher time uptrend, guys. So we're only going to be looking for buys. we still have relatively equal highs in here. We're going to be taking out these highs very, very soon. We have equal highs in here. We're going to continue to buy. All right. So I'm not quite sure if we are going to get an overall pullback in the market. I would like to see that because we had this sort of resistance level that we never retested as support. Maybe we could push down and retest this level, retest the daily 50 EMA, something along those lines. Overall targets for this is going to be around 141, 142 maybe, to fill up some imbalance and retest this previous support as resistance. Again, 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive, looking for a continuation to the upside on any XXX JPY pair. That's why we're looking for a Euro JPY upside, CAD JPY upside, and USD JPY upside. So continued longs, that's what we should be looking for. Scaling into the market here, we can see that, again, clear picture, previous support, resistance, resistance. We broke it, never retested it as support. You can see it's just straight buying in this candle, right? This region of price in here was never retested as support. So that's why for an overall pullback to occur in the market. But if we don't get that and we continue to the upside, then we can still be prepared because the 4-hour 50 is right here. We just tapped the 4-hour 50. So the EMA, I'm not saying to be buying right in here because, well, 1, we have equal lows. 2, we have a potential of pushing down even more before continuing. But the EMA can be, can act as dynamic support and resistance, meaning if we tap the EMA, we could just continue up. The EMA is quite strong in its influence on the markets, but we have to use them in conjunction with other confluences. So what I would like to see is either 1, we push down into here and look to take a long trade, or we create some sort of sell to buy, take liquidity, these equal lows in here, break counter trend structure, pull back, mitigate, and then continue long, taking out this liquidity and higher time frame coming up into this sort of level of price in here. All right, so again, just waiting for that liquidity to be run, waiting for the break of structure to occur, and taking it off of the mitigation is going to be the smart move. But right now, we can't look to be buying upon any, sell to potential buy because we could still come into this level here. We have to wait for the counter trend to break. Well, where's the counter trend? Now, sometimes this is hard to identify. And in this case, there really isn't a counter trend. It's just kind of one leg. This is why I would like to see some sort of open on the market, kind of push up and then create that sell to buy, creating that pullback in the market, where if we come up and break that level, we'll be looking to pull back and go long. All right, so that's my view on GBP/JPY. Going to be looking for only long trades this week. NZD USD, I know Aiden touched base on this earlier, but I kind of want to give you some zones of interest. So as we can see, we were in a higher time frame uptrend, even in here. Many people would think, oh, this is a higher low, higher high, then we broke that higher low, making a lower low. Well, yes, we did, but that was just a short-term play. That was just a short-term break of structure. The overall structure was right in here, right? Higher time frame, higher high, higher low, higher high. This is just an overall pullback to make a higher low, potential for a higher high. Now, price was so bullish coming into here, I did not know it was going to react off of this. And why would I? I mean, we're in a bullish market. We should only be looking for buys. But now, on Friday, we completely collapsed to the downside. So I'm thinking if we can take out this previous structure point in here, just like Aiden said, and make that lower low, pulling back to create the lower high, making another lower low, taking it up the third drive to the downside would be great. Taking out, again, equal lows in here. Okay, so where could a potential entry be? Well, one, we have to first break structure. But if we break structure, let's just say we do that, then my eyes are going to go somewhere in here because we can see previous support, resistance, support could act as resistance again. Again, we have an imbalance right in here with this wick around 0.6638, 0.664, something in around those levels with the 4-hour 50 kind of supporting that as well. So we can push down a little more, pull back into that 4-hour 50 into this zone. I think it might be like a 61.8, depending on where we stop and pull back. If we stop like right in here, come up, fill in balance, 61.8, something like that, and we fall. That's what I'll be looking for. However, we could come up a little bit higher. 5-hour, no, let's go 6. Yeah, something like that. Maybe we can come up to kind of this imbalance, fill in here, maybe a little bit higher into this last buy to sell that took liquidity in here. Could come up a little bit higher into there. So we're just going to be patient and waiting for the correct time of day. But first, we have to break structure first. That's the biggest thing. If we don't do that, then we're still bullish. But yeah, going to be looking for shorting opportunities here potentially this week. So area of interest around this level. Your NZD, It's actually the inverse of NZD USD. So if we are going to be looking for NZD USD shorts, we should be looking for Euro NZD longs, which is exactly what we're looking for. So on the daily time frame, we are looking to break structure counter trend here, and continuing with the overall direction up to the upside. So we didn't quite come back down into this level I had marked up. This is the daily time frame sell to buy. I was really hoping we get that, and honestly, we still could. Really, the structure that needs to be broken is right in here. We get a closure above that level, we'll be looking to pull back and go long. So we can see lower low, overall pullback, lower high, lower low. If we break that, pull back, go long. Okay, so that's just higher time frame structure. Now we have relatively equal lows in here, which we could take out, but we are above the daily 50 again. We had this massive rally to the upside. I don't expect price to come back down, but if it does, this will be our area of interest. But for now, short term, we could be going long. So any pullbacks for longs will be good. We just tapped the 4-hour 50 last week, and where we tapped it was very, very nice because we scale into a lower time frame. The 4-hour 50, this is the 1 hour, but the 4-hour 50 was right in here. Can you guys stop marking stuff up on my screen, please? Equal lows were taken out with this this last sell move before the big move to the upside, mitigating this sort of level in here. All right, we just missed that imbalance fill, but you can see where we're looking to come into. So liquidity was drawn here, sell to buy, break structure, kind of just trickled back up, overall pullback. Again, taking out equal lows before mitigating. This needs to be mitigated for continuations to the upside. All right, and we react off that 4-hour 50, which is right in here. If I just go back to the 4-hour, we can see that we react off that perfectly. So really there's no area of interest for me to be looking for buys, but what I can see is that really anywhere in here could be looking to take a long trade. So any pullback to go long kind of lines up with the 1-hour 50 as well. I'm going to be looking for that long opportunity. So maybe some sort of last sell to buy candle, and we can take a long off the mitigation, something like that. But again, even if we do come in, let's just say we pull back now, come into the 61.8, do I really want to have a 50 pip stop? EN puts out a lot of pips, but 50 pips is quite large. But if we do get the risk to reward, it won't matter. So that's why I tell you guys, pips don't matter, okay? Because let's say I have a 50 pip stop. Well, what if my take profits like 300 pips, right? That's the 1 to 6 risk to reward. So my risk to reward is still there because it puts out a lot of pips. Now, it doesn't really matter about, you have to have at least a 10 pip stop or less. Well, no, because you can have a bigger stop loss, but as long as your take profit is relative to your stop loss, meaning have that at least that 1 to 5 risk to reward, you're going to be good to go. Obviously, it has to be a realistic take profit and not anything fake, just to say you can get a 1 to 5. So any pullback will be good for longs. I'll be looking for that this week. USD CAD, I know he just touched base on this, and I will look for continued downside because we still are in an overall downtrend. However, if we can get, and we can see that we took liquidity here. We had a low here, a low here, and a low here. That was swept last week. Sell, potential buy. Now, if we get back above, well, it's kind of tough to say because I say that, counter trend needs to be broken. Really, this is the counter trend. And if we get back above this level, will I be looking to take it off the pullback to go long? Well, I don't know, because this is really the bigger move. Hold on, zoom out of here. This is really the bigger move from here to here. So maybe even if we do break counter trend structure, we may just be coming into a higher time frame pullback to continue short. So that's why it's going to be very, very difficult to judge this week. Now, if we do get this massive rally to the upside, just come all the way back up here, then yeah, any pullback really in and around these levels of price here, because that's a pretty good size zone, maybe a support, resistance, could make support again, if we just have a massive rally to the upside, really kind of making equal highs again, some sort of inverse head and shoulders for a pullback, overall pullback in continuation. That's what I'd be looking for. But otherwise, if we don't get back up into these levels of price, then continued shorts will be good to come back down into that overall daily time frame sponsor candle that we have down in here. Again, we're still bearish. The daily 50, we're still below the daily 50, so we'll still be looking for shorting opportunities, but you never know what may happen. Again, nothing pertinent on this at the moment. GBP CAD. Okay, so kind of like GBP JPY and all really the pound pairs, we could be in for that overall pullback in the market. Now, if you can see on the daily time frame, this level of resistance was never retested as support, so we could come back down into this level You can see the daily 50 is in and around this level as well. So we could have that overall pullback before continuing, and obviously the draw on liquidity is going to be here. We have equal highs that need to be taken out, and we are in an overall uptrend in the market. All right. So lower time frame, being capped by the 4-hour 50, we could just continue long from here and take out liquidity. 1 hour time frame, again, we have more equal highs in here. All right. So what we saw last week is we saw that we kind of filled an imbalance down here. All right, we had equal lows, sell, potential buy. So now if we can get back above this level of price now, we make a higher high, then I'll be looking to take it off the mitigation to go long again. Okay, so we just have to be patient and wait for price to really do its thing. So I'm not going to be looking to take trades. I don't look to take trades on Sundays at all. I only look to take trades Monday from starting in London session, really New York session on Mondays. But I don't even look at the charts after the webinar here because it doesn't matter. I don't like trading Sundays. So the counter trend is kind of right in here. You can see lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, kind of created equal highs. But again, it is Sunday and price could easily just take liquidity to start the week and then maybe rise. So what I'd like to see is just make of the higher high, pull back to mitigate where we took liquidity and filled imbalance, kind of the sell to buy in here, something like that. Obviously, we could open anywhere. We could open down here and we can just continue. So this could be totally invalid in just a few hours. But I would like to see a higher high formed and then a pullback to continue it for a continuation to the upside. Overall trend is up to take out these equal highs in here. All right, so that's what I'll be looking for on GBP JPY. All right, just a few more GBP NZD, just very quickly. Again, higher time frame, we are bullish, as we can see. It's a huge uptrend. We had that overall pullback in the market. Let us take my fib right here. And it came into that 78.6. So still very, very bullish. We are above the daily 50 again. All right, 4-hour time frame. Now we have a lot of imbalance in here, which I wouldn't be surprised if we have that overall pullback. But since price is so strong and we're being supported by the 4-hour 50, continued longs are not going to be a problem. So what we can see is that we had relatively equal lows. So again, a lot of liquidity being built up here. We had this last sell candle, sell that took liquidity. Potential buy, make a higher high. I would like to see that higher high formed first, then that pull back into discounted pricing, back into this last sell to buy to mitigate this sell to buy here, mitigate those sells, maybe 4-hour 50 retest somewhere in here to take along. So again, nothing pertinent at the moment, but if we do get that sort of play, then I'll be looking to take it off of that level, 1.9715-ish, something like that. So again, nothing pertinent, just going to be waiting to see what happens. Chef JPY. Again, continuation to the upside on any XXX-JPY pair. So I know a couple people bought this last week, and it was actually kind of a nice buy. It was right in 15-minute time frame. Not quite sure. Actually, no, maybe not. Maybe we didn't get that. Anyways, continuations to the upside are going to be our best interest. So actually, let's go to the higher time frame first. So we can see that on the weekly, scale out. That's why it's so important to do higher time frame analysis. Our, I guess, next objective is going to be these highs in here. We have equal highs, so we will take these out before potentially going short, maybe for an overall pullback. So scaling into this, we can see that obviously 4-hour time frame, daily time frame being supported by the EMA. So continued upside, just continue to trade with the trend, guys. So we scale in even more. 4-hour 50 was right in here. Now this is the 1 hour, but the 4-hour 50, we just tapped that, and just like I believe it was just like Euro NZD, I think. We had the equal lows, swept, sell to buy, and at the same time we were selling into the 4-hour 50 EMA to tap that, retest that, and continue long. So now what we can see is the counter trend has been broken. All right, let's check it out. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high. We closed above this level with that last candle on Friday. So any pullback to go long would suffice. Now let's scale in to see where a potential entry could be. And this is something we could see come London session tomorrow. We scale into the 30-minute. I see that one, we're being capped by the 4-hour 50, which is right in here. I know it's not, you can't see it because it's 30-minute, but 4-hour 50 is definitely going to be our friend this week. 30-minute, our last sell to buy candle. And I know I say that sponsor candles don't have wicks in them, which they don't, which is why we should probably scale into this wick to see what we can find. So if I just scale in even more, I can see that we have down here this last sell to buy candle that really took all the liquidity in here. So really a pullback into sort of these two levels here. So maybe we could take our first position on the 30-minute time frame. So a pullback into this open of this like a sponsor candle, because this is really where we started to take liquidity in the first place. So if we can get back down into this level, I will be looking to take a long, maybe having a half position here and then another half position right here, because on the 10-minute time frame, we can see that this is the last selling volume before the big up move, and we broke counter trend structure. So any pullback to go long would be very, very nice, and I really do like this. So if we can get back down into these levels of price, I will be buying. Obviously, I will be updating you guys if I do get in a position, but it has to be in the right time of day. So 115.75, 115.67-ish, going to be looking for buys. So if you want to write that down or mark that off, that's what we're going to be looking for. So GBP Chef is the next one. I have 3 more, just really quickly. GBP Chef, daily time frame. We're bearish on GBP Chef. We are. But I do think we have to come up and take these equal highs in here before going short, because we are making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. You know, you get the point. We do have a lot of liquidity resting below these price points in here. Equal lows, equal lows, equal lows. But we are being capped by the daily 50, which, you know, we could go long short term before falling, which that's what I would like to see. So I will be trading this, any pullback to the long, because of these equal highs in here. Now, we do have equal lows, so we have to be, you know, cognizant of the fact that we have that. But if we can see some sort of, I guess, sell to buy and then pull back and go long, I will be looking for buys. Now, however, like I said on some other pair, I forget which one it was, if we get back up in here and break counter trend structure and take equal highs first, I don't know if I'll be looking for pullbacks to go long, because we swept the liquidity and we're higher time frame bearish. So if we sweep the liquidity to the upside, I'll probably be looking for price to break structure to the downside, then pull back and go short to take out all this liquidity in here. All right, so that's why it's so important to understand the higher time frame trend to see what you could be doing, because many people would think that, oh, if we just get back above, you know, sell to buy, you know, break structure, pull back, we're going to go long. Well, no, because I mean, it could be. We could just continue because the pound is relatively strong, but so is the Swiss franc. So this could easily push to the downside because we're in a bearish market. Take of equal highs, liquidity purge, could be looking to sell, because that's what we want to be doing. We want to be selling above old highs and buying below old lows. All right. I'm not saying this is going to go short if we come up here and take liquidity. I'm just saying that we have to be, you know, aware of the fact that we did take liquidity and we could be in for a fall, even though we kind of are counter trend bullish. All right. So I'm only going to be taking a buy if we don't get back above this level first. If we can, you know, just do something like this, then take profit somewhere in here. But if not, you know, we'll just have to be patient, because we still are in a massive downtrend. So any push up into here, we could be looking for shorts or some sort of break of structure, pull back short. So again, nothing pertinent, just going to be waiting for anything to happen there. So that's GBP Chef. US 30. Don't know why we didn't come down and sweep these lows. Don't really know why. You know, sometimes that happens. That's why I didn't trade this, because I figured, you know, we have to have that overall pullback to really mitigate or really fill in balance in here and take out these equal lows. We didn't do that. We're making higher highs now. So, you know, for continuations, we could easily, it's on the 30-minute or 45. I don't know what time frame it was. 15-minute. Let's go 30-minute. Anyways, 30-minute time frame, scale into this. Making higher highs and higher lows, lower time frame, right? Equal lows in here, wick in here, wick in here, 2 wicks in here. Sold at prime New York session, 7:30. Sold to buy, made a higher high. We kind of have a lot of liquidity just resting in here, right? So I will be looking to take a long trade if we can pull back into this level, mitigate that price point, and then go long. Now, however, what will be a great opportunity to take a trade. So if we have some sort of counter trend, create these equal lows in here, right? Make some sort of sell to buy candle, pull back, and then get in again off of the mitigation. So potential 2 entries here. So one will be here. Again, I will update you guys if I do get in. I don't trade indices that often, but it's looking quite nice for a buy. Just continuations to the upside. I mean, we're bullish on this. So maybe potential entry here, wait for the break of counter trend, get in off the pullback again for a second entry to continue long. All right, so that's US 30. Again, nothing pertinent. This could take a while, but we'll see what happens. Last one, USD CNH. Again, I don't trade this often at all, but we could be in for a potential long opportunity here. We still are maintaining bullish structure, because you can see that overall this was the pullback extension, pullback, extension. We created equal highs. So this is going to be the draw on liquidity if we break counter trend structure. So now we're coming into that LPOR, our last point of return, meaning if we break this point here, we're going to be pulling back to go short. All right. So we're still maintaining bullish structure, and we just missed a very, very clean sponsor candle in here. This was on the 4-hour time frame. This was a clear sell to buy within this wick that took liquidity in here. We just missed that. So what I'm going to be looking for on the lower time frame is either a pushback down into here. So one of two things: pushback down into here. I'm not going to be taking a long trade from here because technically we're still, counter trend bearish. Got to be waiting for a counter trend to break. So I'm going to be looking for a reaction in this level, a break of counter trend structure, a pullback and mitigate to go long. That or this. If we just continue up from here, either create equal highs or make a higher high, pull back into this level of price in here. This is a demand level. Then take a trade from there to go long. Because previous support, break that support, re-break that support, turn back into support again, continuation. So again, going to be very patient and just waiting for the proper setup to come to us. So hopefully that makes sense. And I was talking fast today, but that's all I have for you guys today. Nothing is really pertinent at the moment besides kind of Chef JPY. I do like this or continue long. So any pullback, again, going to be looking at this more heavily come into tomorrow morning. So everything else, just looking for continuations with its overall move. Just going to be waiting throughout the week to get that proper setup at the right time of day. So that is all I have for you guys. If you don't have any questions for me, thank you for hopping on. We will send this out to the VIP members once it's finished processing the recording of this. So thank you so much for hopping on. I appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you Monday morning. So I will stay on just for a little bit longer for any questions you may have.
Yeah, good evening, Dan. Please can you check EuroCHF? I seem to believe.
I can't. I'm sorry, I can't hear a word you're saying. Can you type it in? My audio is sort of fuzzy.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's see. I don't know where I picked up from. GN? I went over GN. On the 1 hour time frame, maybe I already answered this question. I'm not quite sure. We have the 1 hour 50. We did sweep liquidity, opposite direction of trend, looking for continuations of the upside. Any pullback to go long would be good. Again, gotta wait for a time of day. Nothing right now. Okay, hold on. The highs or lows that need to be taken out are marked by the wicks or the bodies. Really the wicks, because that's where the liquidity rests. So, for instance, I guess we can just go here. Because the liquidity is going to be, below the wicks in this case, because why would they place their stop losses like within the wick or something like that? Because there are orders within these wicks, so they want to place them below it. So that's why every time we see liquidity runs, yeah, they're taken out by the wicks, I guess. Yeah, that's where the liquidity rests, just below the lowest wick. That's why we took it out. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, EuroChef. I don't think I've ever traded that pair in my life, but I'll check it out. Is there anything on it you're looking for specifically? Help me out a little bit. I don't really know what you're looking for. EuroChef, massive downtrend. See that. Supported by the daily 50. It's just too choppy. This some pairs I just don't like. I don't know. We're counter trend bullish, overall bearish. We have equal highs in here. So that's going to be the drawn liquidity. So maybe some sort of, I don't know, some sort of sell to buy, pull back long would be good. I don't know. I don't know how this pair moves. I have never traded it before. So it's the thing. It's like I look for setups on a lot of pairs, but you also have to understand a little bit about how that pair moves before you can really look for the setup. So I couldn't really answer that question. Yeah, so I guess what you could do here is technically, since you're in a massive downtrend, I guess the smart move would be to look for the buy to sell, I guess. If you are in a massive downtrend, what you could do is understand that we have equal highs. Maybe look for some sort of, buy to sell move, break up counter trend structure, pull back short, mitigation, wherever that may be, to take the counter trend. Yes, that would probably be the best move because the chef is quite strong, so push down on that. However, the euro is quite strong as well, so we'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, if we can get a clear, buy to sell move, pull back to short off, yeah, that'd be good. Other than that, I don't really see much on it. You don't need a higher high for EN. Where's EN? Well, it would be nice. Honestly, it would be nice to make a higher high and then to pull back. However, understanding that we took liquidity, and I know I always say, once we take liquidity, we have to break the counter trend or make a higher high first before pulling back. Yes, that normally is the case, but because the EMA is right here, and this is kind of just with experience, is kind of intuitive. Can't really explain the intuition part of it, but the fact that we are being supported by the 4-hour 50 very nicely here, the fact that we took equal lows and we sold to buy, but where we came into where we sold was the EMA, and we react off that heavily. It would be nice to get a break of the higher to make a higher high, but I guess you really don't need it because of the EMA. It's hard to explain. But for people who are new, what I would do is stick to what's easy, meaning make a higher high first, then look for a pullback and then go long. That'd be nice. It's just through experience I've noticed that it works out when you have your higher time frame EMAs right near where you're looking to take a position. But yes, normally you would look to make a higher high first. That's correct. GBP, AUD, I think I already covered that. Maybe not. GA. Okay, so higher time frame. Well, let's check it out. I don't really like GA anyways, but yeah, a higher time frame. We're in an uptrend. Okay. We did come into the LPOR here, meaning last point of return. This is the last swing point before we break it. We'll pull back and go short. But what we did do is before that, we created relatively equal lows, snatched the lows, sell to buy. We broke counter trend structure. So continuation to the upside would be nice. I would like for price to get back down to these discounted levels, higher time frame, and then look for a bigger move to the upside. But what could happen? I mean, it doesn't really matter, when price breaks counter trend. I don't care where it does it. If it breaks counter trend, pull back to go long. So really, we're just waiting for the counter trend to be broken, or for price to really reach back down into kind of 1.79 to retest this demand level. So overall longs, but you could take a potential counter trend move. Now, the only way I would take a counter trend move is one, if you have room to go to the downside, which we do, because higher time frame, I expect price to come a little lower. Now, what you have to have is obviously you'll have to have your equal highs, buy to sell, and continue with the kind of the counter trend move. Make a lower low, pull back and mitigate. And even so, even though it's counter trend, but it does have all your proper rules. As long as it's the right time of day, you have more room to the downside to go. I would still be taking a half position just because it is counter trend. But that's not a bad idea. But really just waiting for the counter trend to break to the upside to make an overall, pull back to go long to add a full position. So really nothing at the moment. You're a chef. Just went over that. GA. Just did that. You're a chef, did that. Gold, I'll go over that in a minute. Do I use divergence? Not really. I don't really care about it. I mean, I'm an institutional trader. I'm a volume-based trader. I don't really care about, you know, divergence. I mean, it can come into hand. It can come in handy, for sure. I mean, I can just go check it out. I don't really know which one has relative strength. Something like that. I mean, it's really good for the higher time frames. So really, if you're seeing, you know, I really don't know how it works. I've never really used it. Maybe if you're seeing something like, yeah, see, I really don't know how it works. I really never used it before. I know it's something to do with, you know, if you're looking to take a long trade, but you have divergence, you know, to the upside, maybe if the volume's starting to increase. I don't really know how it works. I've never really used it because I don't really care about it. I mean, I'm profitable without it. I mean, if you figure out how to use it and if you can find divergence, then sure. I mean, that could be a confluence. Obviously, never just trade divergence on its own. Yeah, gold. You guys love gold for some reason. Gold. This is why I don't like trading gold, because this is shit in here. I don't. It's so bullish. Yes, it is. But where's your entry going to be? I really don't know. You're really going to have to wait for some sort of liquidity to be built, right? For then that sell to buy, break of counter structure, go. It has to be pretty, because if you just look to take it off of, I don't know, just a pullback 61.8, where are you going to place your stop? You're going to place it like 300 pips. That's why I don't like gold, is because of that. And I don't really like how it moves either. It's just very crazy. It's just very erratic. It's just very random. It's not clean. But if you can find a good entry to buy, if it fits your rules, by all means, buy it. We're in a bullish market. I just don't see much on it right now. I mean, I could see maybe a little bit of a pullback for a continuation. I didn't think we were going to go much higher on it, but I'd like to see liquidity form first, just kind of like right in here. Oops. Like right in here. This was sort of pretty, because you had that you know, the liquidity right here. You had the obvious sell to buy and the correct direction of trend. You had your draw on liquidity here. You had your pullback to mitigate right in here. You know, it was a nice trade. I just didn't like the fact that we had, you know, 270 pips stop. Like, just that's why I really don't like trading gold. But that's what I would be looking for. I would be looking for the liquidity to be run, sell to buy in the opposite direction of trend. Maybe create some equal high or whatever, higher high, and create some sort of equal low in here to then take liquidity, mitigate, and continue entry here. So yeah, it's not a bad entry. Just gold doesn't set up how I like it on other pairs. That's why I love EU, because EU creates those setups all the time. But yeah, this is really what I'd be looking for. Just equal lows to be snagged, sell to buy, break counter trend structure, pull back, mitigate, go long. That's really all I can do. There are other strategies to trade gold. I just like smart money better. Optimal time. I'd like to see either the mitigation or the, I guess, draw on liquidity around 3 a.m. Eastern Standard, 3 to 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is where I like to see, you know, either the mitigation or the take of liquidity, because usually during the Asian session, you have an Asian range. It's just really, that's why I don't like the Asian session trading. If you just have it, you know, chopping around, you know, random movements, and when London comes around, you have that sweep. Normally, it's not always, you're going to see it. It's not always going to be pretty. But once you do see it, you'll know. You know, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever candle that takes liquidity, and then we have that move to the upside, and then you'll have that re-entry in New York, which is why it's okay to just trade New York session, because New York session really offers that pullback or that second opportunity to get in the market. That's why I love New York session trading, because I can see what's going on here in Asian session. I can see what's going on here in London session. I can see what's going on here to start New York. I can see what's going on here to finish New York, mitigate, and go. So 3 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I guess just kind of wherever you are in the world, make sure that aligns with your time zone. But yeah, those are the proper hours. Out of those hours, I don't trade. GA did that already. Your chef did that. How do you learn how a pair moves? Time, experience. You just looking at it for months and months and months. That's really it. Like, I understand how EU moves because I've been trading it for 3 years. It's just I can't really explain it to you. It's just something that it can't be explained. You just have to look at it yourself for a while. Because certain pairs move differently. You know, certain pairs, they create waves very nicely. Gold moves randomly. Gold maybe respects certain things differently. I really don't know how to explain it. I can't explain it. And that's one of those things that comes with intuition, is just really looking at the chart for as long as I have been. You start to pick up on things that you never thought you'd see. No, there's no time frame. Price does not understand time. It understands price. Think about it. Time frames are just a zoomed in or zoomed out version of what's going on. You just have to really understand where the liquidity is. So let's go to Chef JPY, for instance. You know, understanding that we're in an uptrend, understanding that we had liquidity here that was taken in the opposite direction of trend. We broke counter trend structure because this was the previous swing point. We have to wait for counter trend to be broken because you could easily just have been lower low, lower high, lower low, and maybe then a higher high. Then this would be the sponsor candle somewhere in here. But no, it could be anywhere. I mean, for instance, Chef JPY is a sponsor candle, 30-minute to the 10-minute. You just have to see what looks pretty. What candle actually takes the liquidity? So for instance, Chef JPY, the liquidity was run with a 30-minute candle opening here, a 10-minute candle here. So these are the sponsor candles. Now I can go to somewhere like Euro AUD, and the sponsor candle could be on the 8-hour time frame. This is where the liquidity was run. Sell to buy. You just have to zoom in and zoom out and see what looks good. There's no time frame that's like universal for something. Hopefully this has been helpful for you guys. Hopefully you guys are taking notes. I don't think I missed anything. If I did, just send it again here. It's a lot of messages. Also, guys, if you had scheduled a one-on-one with us, please just text us again, because sometimes it's hard to keep up. I have a lot, and I don't want to miss you guys. I don't want to miss it. So if you have a one-on-one schedule, just remind me so I can make sure I have it in my notes. Yeah, you shouldn't be looking for sells at all in gold. Gold's bullish. I mean, you could ask my 2-year-old cousin and be like, "Hey, is this going on?" She'll tell you it's going up. All right, cool, let's buy it. I mean, it's as simple as that, guys. Really, Forex is not complicated. The people who lose overcomplicate it. It's kind of ironic, You think that complicated things are, the best things in the world, because if it's complicated, if it's difficult, then it's probably, worthwhile. But no, just keep it simple. Keep it as simple as possible. What else we got? Any other questions, guys? Thank you for hopping on, everyone. Appreciate your enthusiasm in Forex and everything. How to control yourself to not overtrade. Having a trading plan. I have my trading plan. I understand what I need to look for. What are my confluences, right? So obviously higher time frame direction, understanding structure, understanding time of day. So not trading outside the hours of 3 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. All right, understanding where the liquidity is, waiting for a clean sell to buy or buy to sell, depending on which direction you're trading, and take the liquidity, breaking counter trend structure, pulling back, mitigating, finding levels of interest, whether that be imbalances, obviously trading in, buying at discounts, selling at premiums, understanding where the EMAs are, just stuff like that. We look to trade every day, but not all the time we do. Yeah, I didn't either, bro. There was nothing. How many institutional setups did you guys catch? We didn't catch a single thing. I didn't trade last week. That's like the second week in my 3-year career I haven't traded. That's kind of crazy. But there just wasn't much at all. And I'm really hoping we'll start to pick up soon, because it is, coming into sort of the end of summertime, starting fall in a little bit, which I love fall trading. Yeah, I couldn't find much either, bro. I mean, we found something on AJ, but got in really quick, put it to break even because it was Friday, and it ended up falling again. So it break even. GU, I think if you took that trade, you're up a little bit. But yeah, there wasn't much. Sometimes there's amazing setups. Like 2 weeks ago, we had I think 5 or 6 setups that all of them hit take profit for the most part. It's got to trade what we see, not what we want to see. Yeah, I mean, you can use divergence. I'm not saying it's bad at all. I mean, it could be a good thing. Just use it in conjunction or with the confluences that you have for your setup. So if you have 4 or 5 confluences and divergence is one of them, that's probably a good trade. Just don't use divergence as your sole confluence. Never use one thing as a sole confluence. I guess some big advice to tell you guys, if nothing looks pretty, there's probably nothing there, to be quite honest with you. If you can train your eyes to see the same things over and over, and if you just don't see anything, don't force anything. That's how I was when I first started trading. I was always looking for a setup on every single pair, every single day. And that's why I lost so much in the beginning, was because I didn't understand the fact that, well, just have your trading plan. If you have your rules, if they're not met, don't trade it. If it doesn't look pretty, don't trade it. It's not worth it. Because you can trade once a week and still make 5 figures, 6 figures if your account's big enough. That's why it's all about compounding percentages. Like for instance, 2 weeks ago, we did 32%. I could have been done for the year. I mean, you don't get 7% in the stock market in a year. We did 32% a week. So you got to think about it like that. You trade EU last week. I spent a set up short on it. Or was I mistaken? No, I mean, Euro USD was bullish. I didn't take anything Euro USD. I mean, it's so bullish. So people they miss, or sometimes they blow their accounts because they trade counter trend. That's what the markets love to do. If you haven't noticed, guys, the markets love to give you counter trend moves. It's easy to identify counter trend potential setups. But that's why, again, 99% of retail traders lose, because they just don't have the patience to wait for the proper setup in the right, direction of trend. I mean, if you found something quick, I mean, if you were in here maybe and you found, lower low, you pulled back, you found some institutional trade setup on like 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, yeah, it's not a bad idea, sure. But overall, I look for higher time frame moves. Got some question on Euro GBP. I'll go over that in a minute. What other confluences do you use with institutional setups other than the 50 EMA? Structure, higher. Are we in a bullish market? Higher high, higher low. Fibs. Are we going to be buying at? Actually, it should be right here. Are we buying at discounted pricing? Yeah. Are we in a zone? I don't know. There's no clear zone. A zone meaning like, something like this. Obviously, this is a clear zone in here. You get what I mean. Prices reacted off of this level multiple times, creating support, resistance, whatever. So zones, the buying at discount, selling at premium, so fibs, EMAs, imbalances, sponsor candles. It'll all be highlighted in our course. So for instance, I think this is like 2 hour maybe. We had a little bit of imbalance in here. Sponsor candle in here, 61.8, 71%, discounted pricing, overall direction of trend, 4 hour 50 EMA, right here, being supported, hard time from uptrend, stuff like that. Doesn't have to be hard. GBP, I don't really see much in this right now. It's too choppy for me. I like shorts on it because pound strength, but we are still being capped by the daily 50 EMA. We could come up and take this liquidity in here. Even though this was the level I was looking to sell from, and obviously I didn't sell from here because that would be a huge stop loss. This is a level of interest for me. We did react off of it, but we never created a lower low yet. We haven't created that lower low. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Yeah, we failed to make a higher high, but until we create that lower low, I guess technically we're still bullish. Even though I'm looking for shorts, we haven't taken out this low yet. We are being capped by the daily 50. So what could happen, in all honesty, is we could come down here, sleep liquidity, sell to buy, break structure, pull back, potential long opportunity. What I would like to see is continued downside. So maybe some sort of overall pullback, right? So maybe some, I don't know, buy to sell, break counter trend structure, short it off, take liquidity here, keep going with the direction of trend, the downside. So overall, higher time frame, we're in a downtrend. We took liquidity here, higher time frame, buy to sell. So we took that liquidity, we should make another move to the downside. But it's kind of weird because I have a short bias, but technically we're still bullish. We haven't taken out structure yet. We haven't broken structure. We're still being supported by the daily 50. So it's kind of tough. So I'm not going to be, pressuring myself to look for an entry unless it's clean. Because honestly, it could go either way. Because the euro is strong and so is the pound. I have a mentor. Used to trade for an institution. Phenomenal trader. I don't want to give his identity out. I don't do that. But yeah, great trader. Trading for decades. Any last questions, guys? I'm gonna wrap it up here. Aiden, you want to add anything else?
Nah, bro. Good. Thanks for staying on this entire time, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. How long did it take to master these concepts? About a year. Took about a year. Thank you guys for hopping on. Yeah, it takes time, guys. But the thing is, I've been doing it every single day. I get up early in the morning and I study. I study the chart. So it's not like you can just, master it in a week or a month or a year. It all depends on how dedicated you are to it. Are you journaling? Are you back testing? Are you doing your due diligence on the weekends? Do you have a trading plan? Are you mentally prepared? Do you have good psychology? That really determines how long it takes. It could take someone 5 years, it could take someone 10 years, it could take someone 1 year, it could take someone 6 months. I haven't been trading for decades. He has. My mentor has. I have not. I've been trading for 3 years. Smart money for about a year. And I haven't even mastered smart money. I have not mastered it. I'm still learning, but I am very good at it because I've been doing it for a while and I have great psychology. I mean, it's only up from here, guys. So it's onwards and upwards. That's all I say. You can never get worse. You can only get better. That's the great thing about trading. I mean, learning. I mean, everyone's learning. Even professionals are still learning.
Always something new to learn.
Yeah. You go over psychology. Yep. Psychology and discipline will be a big part of the course. Yeah. It's going to be
I
good,
just
guys.
made a 35-minute video dedicated entirely to psychology and discipline for the course. It's fire.
How much is it? Beginner's course is $150. Advanced course is $350. If you buy both of them, you get a discount, so $400 total. But if you're in VIP, you also get an additional discount, just as a thanks for being a part of our community. Can you teach us a bit on how to learn better? Well, it's really all about chart time, bro. It's just about everything that we teach you guys. So understanding structure is the biggest thing. And that comes with, watching our daily breakdown videos, hopping on our calls. I think the course is going to help you out an immense amount. But you can't rush the process. You really can't. It takes time. It took me a year, and I'm still learning myself, just like everyone else is. I would stick to a few pairs. Don't try to do everything that I'm doing here, as in looking at every single pair. I have to because I run this company, so I have to attend to everyone's pair, I guess, likings or whatever. So, but stick to your rules. Obviously, if you look at the training plan I've sent to you, if you don't have it, let me know. I can send it to you. It just takes time. It really does. Majors, I like majors. Exotics are a little tricky. EU, AU, NU, UCAD, CJ. Let's see. I don't really like GA, GN, GJ because they're very, very volatile. Which is not a bad thing, but their movements are a little whack. I like clean waves. So a lot of the majors have clean waves. Dollar pairs are good for smart money. Yeah, guys, if you're struggling still, hit us up with a one-on-one. We'll schedule it. And it has to be in advance, though. I can't get you guys in right now. I mean, I have a whole list I have to do. But, yeah, if you guys are struggling a little bit, yeah, let's get on a one-on-one. Be happy to help you guys. Well, that's how we're trying to make the course relatively, affordable. We do have to charge for it just because it is very extensive. But I understand, the financial situation with everyone. COVID-19's been hurting a lot of people, so trying to make it affordable. Yeah, course still August 28th so far. Nothing has said otherwise. I mean, if we have a hiccup, we'll let you guys know, but so far we're still on track for August 28th. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate your time. I'm gonna hop off. It's been a great session. Thank you for hopping on. We'll talk to you guys in the morning. So get some good rest, and we'll speak to you guys in the London session. Peace out.
Thank you.